friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Wendy, and today I'm going to go over my September TBR. So friends, as I said, I'm going to go over my September TBR. It has been a minute since I have been able to record, but I am finally back. I've had computer problems, I've been very sick. In fact, today I'm still sick, and so it has been just a time trying to get my content out, but thank you for bearing with me. As you can see, I am totally ready for fall. This is just a very poorly put together fall decoration because I was doing what I could, feeling not very great. So it will probably be fixed later on, but it is what it is, people. It is what it is. I am just not very artistic or crafty. So I did what I could. But I'm very excited. As you can tell, I have so many fun fall reads. I have swapped a lot of my books out, and I cannot wait for all of the book clubs this month. So I'm gonna start by listing off all the book clubs that I'm involved in. So number one is from Hannah, the teacher TBR, her Cozy Comfy Book Club. I will be hosting along with Leah Beth for the book club pick this month, which is Cherry Pie or Die. I'll insert a picture here. And this is a cute little cozy mystery that takes place at an Airbnb, and I cannot wait. It looks totally adorable and just perfect fall vibes. And next I have Up From Dust, I believe is what it's called, and this will be my first biblical fiction that I've read in quite some time, and this is for Keisha's Revive book club, and I will be reading that through ebook. So I don't have the physical copy here, and I am super excited for that. And then the next book club pick that I'm very excited for is Assistant to the Villain, which is for Jordan's brand new Patreon, The Girlies Who Read, and I will link all of that information below. And I am so excited to read this book and that this was the pick because I was planning to read this anyway, so it was just perfect. And I'm so excited to get to it. I have heard that it is funny, that it is fantasy, and just quirky, and I am here for it. So then the next book club I'm also participating in is this Trial of the Sun Queen, and this is going to be for Spark of Sam's book club pick. I will insert a picture above, and I am also reading that on my Kindle. And then the last book club pick that I'm reading is A Sorceress Comes to Call, and this is for Liv's Patreon. And this is a book that I actually saw at the library and was just drawn to reading the back of it and wanted to read it, and so then I saw her book club was doing it, and I'm like, well, I have to join because I wanted to read this anyway. So Cordelia knows her mother is unusual. Their house doesn't have any doors between rooms. There are no Series in this house, and her mother doesn't allow Cordelia to have a single friend unless you count Falada, her mother's beautiful white horse. The only time Cordelia feels truly free is on her daily rides with him, but more than simple eccentricity sets her mother apart. Other mothers don't force their daughters to be silent and motionless for hours, sometimes days on end. Other mothers aren't evil sorcerers. When her mother unexpectedly moves into the manor above home of the wealthy older squire and his kind but keen-eyed sister Hester, Cordelia knows this welcoming pair are to be her mother's next victims. But Cordelia feels at home for the very first time among these people, and as her mother's plans darken, she must decide how to face the women who raised her to save the people who have become like family. And I don't know what it is, but I just recently read Belladonna, which is more of like a Gothic fantasy, and so when I saw this, it just seemed like some similar vibes, and I was really excited to try it out. And the next book, which is not a part of any book club, but it is just something that I recently heard about from a fantasy booktuber. I will link her below, the raven-haired reader. And it is called Lightlark, and she was actually reading the second one in the video, but I thought it sounded really good. So it is Every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide. Each curse is uniquely wicked. To break them and save themselves and their realms, one ruler must die. To survive, Isla Crown must lie, cheat, betray, even as love complicates everything. And so I think that this is just perfect for fall. I'm obsessed with fantasy, as everyone knows, and fall has just brought out that even more for me. So that is all I've been wanting to read, is fantasy. That is it. The other thing that I'm currently reading is Heat of the Everflame, and I've already started it. It is absolutely incredible, and I'm buddy reading this with Tammy, and we are both just having such a great time. I highly recommend this series. If I haven't said it enough already on this channel, just read it. It is such a great romantasy fantasy series. Okay, so then the last picks are all going to be maybes, and that is because this is for Jess's book club Survive the Night readathon. And so basically the premise is that there are all these prompts for different locations, and you are going to sneak around to different locations such as the cabin or just different areas. And then you will read a book based on that prompt, and you will submit it on a form. And as you're reading it, there is a killer that goes around, and if you are still at the place when the killer gets there, then you are out and you die. So it is super fun and just all of the fall Halloween vibes. So these are my TBR picks for that, which means that I will not be getting to all of these, but I will be getting to some of them just depending on the prompts that I land on. So I have Encyclopedia of Fairies, and this is for the prompt about traveling because she does travel in this book. I had Softy enough this earlier just because I just wasn't in the mood at the time and I got distracted by so many other books. So I'm ready to get back into this. This is a cozy fantasy and it is super cute, but it is a slower read. The next read I have is Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. As you all know, I absolutely love his thrillers, and I know that this is probably going to be one that I enjoy. I have put it off because a lot of people have been giving mixed reviews, saying it was slower, but honestly, I kind of like that in his thrillers in the past, and that's something I like about Ruth Ware. Sometimes hers is slower, so I'm hopeful that I will enjoy it still. But this is going to be for the prompt of past book club picks for Jessie's channel, as well as the prompt for the hottest new release. The next pick I have is Wildfire by Hannah Grace, and this is for the summer camp prompt, and this is just basically following Russ and Aurora when they meet at a summer camp, and I don't have high hopes for this only because I DNF'd the icebreaker. It was just all smut and not good. So this may be a DNF, but I am going to give it a try and it will fit the summer camp prompt. The next pick I have is Fable by Adrienne Young, and I believe this is a pirate fantasy. The daughter of the most powerful trader in the Narrows, the sea is the only home 17-year-old Fable has ever known. It's been 4 years since the night she watched her mother drown during an unforgiving storm. The next day, her father abandoned her on a legendary island filled with thieves and little food. To survive, she must keep to herself, learn to trust no one, and rely on the unique skills her mother taught her. The only thing that keeps her going is the goal of getting off the island, finding her father, and demanding her rightful place beside him and the crew. To do so, Fable enlists the help of a young trader named West to get her off the island and across the Narrows to her father. But her father, rivalries, and the dangers of his trading enterprise have only multiplied since she last saw him, and Fable soon finds that West isn't who he seems. Together, they will have to survive more than the treacherous storms that haunt the Narrows if they're going to stay alive. Fable takes you on a spectacular journey filled with romance, intrigue, and adventure. And I first heard about this from Hannah at the Teacher's TBR. I know she absolutely loved it, but it's also, I picked it out because it's just a beautiful cover to me. I believe it's YA fantasy, and I chose this for my prompt of a body part, basically any cover that has any body part on it. And I'm buddy reading this with Jules, Tammy, and Leah, so we are all very excited. Next pick is Study in Drowning, and what's interesting about this one is I actually have had this one for quite some time. I was on Owl Crate for just a little while, and this was probably the first one I received. And I'll show you the inside cover. And it's just been on my shelf forever. I hadn't really heard anything about it, and recently I heard that Liv had said that this was one of her favorites from last year, and I do really enjoy her fantasy recommendations, and so I was like, you know what, I need to give this a try. And so I just happened to have a nice edition of it, and so this will be for the prompt with water on the cover for Jess's readathon. And then the last one I may start this month, but I don't know for sure, and that is Spell Shop. And this is because this one is the October unofficial buddy read for Hannah's book club, and I might end up starting it this month. I haven't decided. It just depends on the time and how many of these prompts I end up having to do for Jess's readathon. But it is beautiful, and I think it's cozy fantasy, and it says, this was a good place with kind people who cared about each other. There was a unicorn in the woods, mermaids in the coves, and the best raspberries she'd ever tasted, and then there was Laren. And it says, reading this book was like sitting in the sun, watching bees in the foxgloves, a warm, peaceful delight of a novel. You can almost smell the jam and hear the ocean. I finished this book smiling. And it says, it takes a village to open a heart and just one man to steal it. This cover is just probably my top fall cover, like beautiful cover of the year. Like, this hands down is my favorite fall cover I've seen yet. It is just gorgeous. And then the other ones I needed to mention was Foxglove, and this was also for a prompt for Jess's readathon. I cannot for the life of me remember what prompt that is, so I will put it below, but I just remembered that was on there, as well as You with a View is for the prompt of a book with a view. So I think that is it. If I'm missing any other books that are for those prompts, I'm going to list them right here because there were quite a bit, and again, I might not get to all of those, but as you can tell, I am in full fantasy mode, full fall mode, and I'm loving every minute of it. And I just am having the time of my life reading all of these fantasies. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and the inspiration of the day would be for you to try a fantasy read. And that may not seem like that great of an inspiration, but this is my channel and I get to do what I want. And you know, I love fantasy, so I am going to encourage you that if you have never tried one, please try one. There is a fantasy out there for everyone. I truly believe that. There's YA fantasy, there's middle grade fantasy, there's cozy fantasy, there's romantasy, there is high fantasy. There are so many different types of fantasy, and if you want a suggestion, comment below what you typically read, and I will help you find one to try out. And until next time, guys, remember to read what inspires you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.